Imagine walking into a room, your stomach rumbling with hunger. You haven't eaten in hours. A deliberate instruction for the experiment you are about to join. As you sit down, the most wonderful smell fills the air. It's the scent of freshly baked chocolate chip cookies, still warm and gooey from the oven. They are right there on a plate in front of you, a glorious mountain of melted chocolate and golden brown dough. Your mouth waters, your mind screams, just one. It's a temptation so close, so real, you can almost taste it. This was the scene set for a group of unsuspecting volunteers in a famous study, but there was a catch, a difficult and cruel one. Next to the plate of irresistible cookies sat another plate. This one held a small pile of plain red radishes. The researchers looked at one group of participants and said, "You can eat the radishes, but you absolutely cannot touch the cookies." They were then left alone in the room with only their willpower to protect them from the sweet allure of the forbidden treats. The temptation wasn't just a fleeting thought, it was a persistent, fragrant presence testing their resolve with every passing second. Can you feel their struggle? The participants in this group did an amazing thing. Every single one of them resisted the cookies. They nibbled on the crunchy, slightly bitter radishes while the warm, sweet aroma of the cookies taunted them relentlessly. They looked at them, they probably dreamed of them, but they did not eat them. They passed the test of self-control. On the surface, this looks like a story of pure human victory, a testament to the strength of the human will. It was a silent, personal battle fought in a quiet room, and they emerged as the victors over their own desires. However, the story doesn't end there. The researchers, led by Dr. Roy Baumeister, were interested in more than just whether people could resist a cookie. They wanted to know what happened after the battle was won. What was the cost of this intense self-denial? Was there a hidden price for saying no to something you desperately wanted? The real experiment was only just beginning. The most important discovery was not about their success in that moment, but about the invisible toll that such a difficult act of resistance had taken on their inner strength for the challenges that were still to come. After the radish eaters successfully endured their trial by temptation, they, along with a control group who had been allowed to eat the cookies, were given a second task. This time, it was not a test of taste, but a test of the mind. They were presented with a series of puzzles to solve. These puzzles were designed to be frustrating. In fact, they were actually impossible to complete. The real test was to see how long each person would persevere before they finally gave up. It was a measure of their mental endurance and their ability to stick with a difficult problem. The results were striking and revealed a profound truth about our inner resources. The people who had been allowed to freely indulge in the delicious cookies worked on the puzzles for an average of about 20 minutes. They were focused and persistent. But the group who had been forced to resist the cookies and eat the bland radishes, they gave up much, much sooner. On average, they quit after only 8 minutes. They showed significantly less patience and persistence. It was as if their ability to try hard had been completely drained away by the earlier struggle. This simple but brilliant experiment demonstrated a powerful concept. Self-control is a limited resource. It's not an endless well of strength that we can draw from without consequence. Think of it like a muscle in your body. If you lift heavy weights at the gym for a long time, your muscles get tired and weak. You can't just keep lifting forever. You need time to rest and recover before you can lift again. Your willpower works in the exact same way. Every time you use it to say no to temptation, you are using up a little bit of its energy. This is why, after a long and stressful day of making difficult decisions and resisting small temptations, you might find it harder to be patient with your family in the evening. It's why you might manage to stick to your diet all day, only to find yourself giving in to a late-night snack when you are tired and worn out. Your willpower muscle is exhausted. The radish eaters didn't become less intelligent or less capable. They were simply tired. Their self-control had been used up resisting the cookies, leaving them with very little energy for the next challenge that came their way. This idea of a tired will isn't just a fascinating scientific finding, it is a deep spiritual truth that resonates with our everyday lives. Every single one of us faces our own version of the cookie and radish test each day. The temptations we face may not always be as obvious as a plate of fresh cookies, but they are just as real and just as draining. For some, the temptation is to speak a harsh word in a moment of anger. For others, it is the pull of pride, the desire to gossip, or the lure of impatience while waiting in a long line. These struggles are universal. No one is immune. From the smallest child wanting a toy that isn't theirs to the most powerful leader facing a moral compromise, the battle is the same. It is the clash between what we want to do in the moment and what we know we ought to do. Each time we choose the better path, we exercise our self-control. We choose the radish. And each time we do, we spend a little of that precious energy. This is why trying to be good on our own strength can feel so utterly exhausting. We are constantly fighting these small, unseen battles all day long. The Bible is filled with stories of people who understood this struggle intimately. The Apostle Paul himself cried out about his own internal conflict, saying, "I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do, this I keep on doing." If even a great man of faith like Paul felt this intense battle within himself, then we should not be surprised when we feel it too. It is not a sign of failure to feel the pull of temptation. It is simply part of the human condition. The struggle itself is not the problem. The problem is thinking we have to fight it all by ourselves. Recognizing that our willpower gets tired is the first step toward finding a better way. When we try to overcome temptation through sheer grit and determination alone, we are setting ourselves up for failure. We might win a few battles, we might resist the cookie for a while, but eventually our muscle will get tired. Our energy will run out. We will be left depleted and vulnerable, and when the next puzzle or the next temptation comes along, we will find ourselves giving up far too easily. We need a source of strength that doesn't run out. So what is the answer if our own willpower is not enough? If our internal strength gets depleted like a battery, where can we turn for a recharge? The experiment gives us a clue. The problem wasn't a lack of desire to do the right thing. The radish eaters wanted to succeed at the puzzles. The problem was a lack of energy. The good news of the gospel is that we are not left to face these battles on our own power. There is a source of strength available to us that is infinite and never gets tired. We don't have to rely on our own limited supply. The Bible tells us that self-control is not something we have to manufacture on our own. Instead, it is a fruit of the Spirit. A fruit is something that grows naturally when it is connected to a life source. An apple doesn't struggle to become an apple. It simply grows because it is attached to the tree. In the same way, self-control can grow in our lives when we are connected to God. It is a gift He gives, not a trophy we earn through sheer effort. When we feel our own strength fading, we can ask for His. This changes everything. It means that victory over temptation is not about trying harder, but about trusting deeper. It's about admitting our weakness and our exhaustion. It's about looking at the plate of cookies and, instead of gritting our teeth and relying on our own resolve, turning to God and saying, "I can't do this alone, please help me." This prayer is not a sign of weakness. It is the ultimate sign of wisdom. It is acknowledging that our own resources are finite, but His are limitless. He can provide the strength we need for that moment and the next and the one after that. So the next time you feel the pull of temptation, remember the story of the cookies and the radishes. Recognize that feeling of being tired and worn down for what it is, a signal that your own strength is running low. Don't despair, don't give up. Instead, see it as an invitation to lean on a power greater than your own. Ask for help. True and lasting victory is found not in the strength of our will, but in the grace of a God who promises to be our strength when we have none left. He is always ready to help us choose well.